know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, and you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Have you ever shielded an acid spray? It is absolutely the worst feeling you can possibly have in playing Pokemon Go PvP. It is crucial that you have watched the counting fast moves video that we've made a couple days ago. Make sure you watch it before you guys watch this video. Go back, watch that video, then come back to this video, because counting fast moves will really help master what I'm about to teach you. This video is going to be about shielding. Now, what about shielding? Here I'm going to teach you guys how to shield, when not to shield, and more importantly, how to shield bait. We both know when the battle begins that you start off with 2 shields. Now, those 2 shields are your lifeline, your savior, the reason to why you will win your match. But if not used correctly, it can make your winning matchup into a losing matchup, or a slightly losing matchup into basically sealing the deal that you lost the match. So when do I shield? There's many reasons to why you should or shouldn't shield in a specific matchup. But the easiest way to explain it is that if your opponent is going to be using a charge move that is going to do a huge chunk of damage, you shield it. If he's not going to do a huge amount of damage, don't shield. But this isn't always the case. Now, J-Farm, are you going back on what you're saying? Absolutely not. But when you start adding a little bit more strategy into it, you're going to notice that your shields can actually sway the match into your favor or out of your favor. So I'm gonna give you a simple example. You're starting off the match, you completely lost the lead. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna instantly switch out, bring in your opponent's counter. Then you're gonna hope and pray that he doesn't have a response to that. Let me break it to you. 9 out of 10 times, they do have an answer. So what do? It's simple, you just rage quit and call it a day. I'm kidding. So you have the losing matchup, so how do you flip the tide? It's simple. You don't shield anything. Literally nothing. If your opponent counters you so hard to the point that he can literally farm you, take you down with just fast move, and he is going to be pulling off a charge move, that is his mistake, and you're gonna make him pay for it. Now your Pokemon fainted, and now you're able to bring back his counter. And let me tell you something. He's switch locked at this time. So now you're either gonna take them out, or you're gonna be taking them out regardless and taking a shield with it. You saw that? You went from a losing matchup to a winning matchup by like 3 miles ahead. How? Because you managed your shields. So when else should you shield? If you're in a matchup where your opponent's Pokemon has a charge move that can literally one-shot your Pokemon, you make sure that you shield anything that comes at you, but make sure you count those fast moves. If you see a difference, let's say for example 5 fast moves pulls off the not so good charge move on you, let's just say 8 fast moves can actually pull off that big heavy charge move. If you see about 7 to 8 fast moves prior to the charge move, you make sure you shield that, because it's better to not risk it, not let your Pokemon go down off of one charge move, and I would personally rather lose a shield than be in that matchup. Now here comes the fun part. Shield baiting. Shield baiting is amazing when you're doing it to someone else. But when it's done to you, it's the worst feeling ever. Shield baiting is an art. If you do it properly, amazing. It literally puts you 2-3 steps ahead. But if you don't do it properly, it literally puts you 2-3 steps behind. So what is shield baiting? I know that's the first question you guys are asking. Shield baiting is when you actually use a charge move that costs less energy, making them think it's the actual charge move that costs more energy. It is when you use a charge move that costs less energy, making them think that you're gonna actually be using the charge move that uses more energy. Now, why do we do this? We do this to basically force a shield out and then hit them with the heavy move, because now they're like, I can't waste another shield. So how is this done correctly? We're gonna be using a method called positive shield baiting. And what does that mean? It means basically that we have a Pokemon against your opposing Pokemon, but both charge moves will do some decent damage. One will be amazing, the other one will be decent. If we're in a scenario where we do a charge move to try to bait a shield, but they call our bluff, that's a whole lot of energy just wasted to do very minimal damage. It's a whole lot of energy wasted, and you don't want to be in a position where you faint before you're able to pull off your heavy charge move. Perfect example of this would be round 1 in your tournament. You're going up against your opponent. You lead off with a Azumarill. He leads off with Skarmory. Your Azumarill is running Ice Beam and Hydro Pump. But guess what? Your opponent doesn't know that. You have the matchup 100%. But you don't want to let out all your secrets right away. So what are you going to do? You're going to J-Farm all the way to Hydro Pump. All the way. Let him think that you're about to pull off a Hydro Pump. And then hit him with the Ice Beam. This is positive shield baiting, because whether he shields or not, either you get the shield or you're doing some decent damage with Ice Beam. And because you J-Farmed all the way to Hydro Pump, you're going to be able to pull off basically another Ice Beam right after that. Or charge up to Hydro Pump and pull it off anyway. Look what you just did. You just baited him round 1. So what's going to happen in round 2? You go into the same matchup, Azumarill versus Skarmory. He still doesn't know that you have Hydro Pump. So what are you going to do then? You're going to farm up all the way to Hydro Pump, and then you're going to give it to him. Hit him with the Hydro Pump, because he won't even see it coming. He thinks you are running the Ice Beam Play Rough variant at that point. And he's like, he's trying to bait me again. And then boom, you make him pay for it. And if you land the Hydro Pump, you are light years ahead. There's one last thing I want to tell you guys about shield baiting. There's something called negative shield baiting. Now, negative shield baiting is when you are actually going to be baiting with a move that will not do a whole lot of damage. We were just talking about the opposite of this earlier, but this is super risky. Super risky. Because if things don't go as planned and he calls you out on your bluff, it's basically all over at that point, because you just wasted a whole lot of energy and he didn't even shield, and now you're just 5 steps behind. You might even have to use your own shield at that point, and that just defeats the purpose of this whole thing. I'm not saying not to do it, I'm just saying just be super careful when actually doing it. I know that there's some matches, and I've been in it myself, that you are forced to do this negative shield baiting to actually win the match. That is your only way to win. So if you're in that position, go for it. Now I'm going to show you guys some examples between shield baiting, positive shield baiting, and negative shield baiting. First, we're going to start off right now with our Azumarill going up against his Skarmory. We were just talking about this earlier. Now, as you can see, that Azumarill is a shiny Azumarill, and we are just J-farming that Skarmory. We're going all the way up to Hydro Pump. Hit him with bubbles over and over. Now, he actually is going to get to his Sky Attack first, and we're like, no problem. We're not shielding anything. We are keeping our shields for later in the match. So we're going to be just keep farming. We're going to hit him all the way to that Hydro Pump. Now we're going to hit him with the Ice Beam. So here, we actually get that Ice Beam off, and Ice Beam is going to do a whole lot of damage. So if he shields, great. If he doesn't, great. And as you can see here, he shielded, and we're like, awesome. Now we're light years ahead. So what are we going to do? We're going to just tank this Sky Attack again. We're like, no problem, whatever it is, right? Fine, hit us with the Sky Attack. And now we still have enough health to be able to get to another Hydro Pump. So now we're gonna get to this Hydro Pump, and that is gonna be pretty much the end of that Skarmory. Let's take a look here, hit him with the Hydro Pump, we get the excellent, and boom, we get him with the Hydro Pump, and that is the end of that Skarmory. And basically one more fast move, we were good. But then we're gonna be showing a different scenario where we actually just go in, farm up, and keep hitting him with the Ice Beam. So what are we gonna do here? We're gonna just keep farming, hit him with bubbles, get all the way to that Hydro Pump. That is the best way to shield. You want to make sure that if he's a great player, the person you're playing up against is a great player. He's counting your fast moves, so let him count all the way to Hydro Pump and see what happens. So here we're like, okay, cool, this is the second round. Now he thinks we're gonna go Ice Beam, but no, we're gonna make him pay for it, and we're gonna be hitting him with a Hydro Pump right off the bat, and look how much damage that just did. Now we can just farm him away, no problem. We're good with it. So that is exactly what we're gonna do. We're just gonna keep doing exactly this, and we're like, no, we're still not shielding nothing. We are keeping our shields for later in the match. So that is exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit him with bubble, just keep going in, and we look how much energy we have right now. We farmed him. We have a Hydro Pump and an Ice Beam for whatever's coming back in. And that is going to be the end of that, man. That was perfect J farming. So here's another example. It's going to be a Water Gun Lapras against an Altaria. Now we know Ice Shard is so much better against Altaria, but we have a water gun. This is our scenario right here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get all the way pretty much to Ice Beam, and then we're gonna be pulling off the Surf. Let's see, this is called negative shield baiting. So we're gonna hit with a Surf, and he doesn't fall for it. And we're like, okay, now we're in a huge problem. So he's gonna hit us with a Sky Attack, and we're like, okay, yeah, now Dragon Breath is gonna go to town on us. And we're like, okay, now we have to get to this Ice Beam. We have to, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So we're gonna hit with the Ice Beam, and let's see, does he know that we're desperate right now? We're like, okay, we have to hit this Ice Beam. We have to. Will he shield here? And we're like, now he shields. And we're like, okay, see, that was a bad like example of positive shielding. There's definitely negative shielding right there. Shield baiting. So we're gonna try that again, and this time we're gonna be going with Lapras, and we're gonna do just what we're supposed to be doing. In this scenario, you could actually get to 2 Ice Beams. So we're gonna get all the way to Ice Beam, and we're gonna see, is he gonna shield here? Because this is what happened prior. We hit him with the Surf, and he didn't shield. Now we're gonna go straight to Ice Beam. This is an example of a scenario where it's like, okay, you don't have too much of a positive matchup, so you gotta go straight in for the kill. You gotta make sure you go in for the kill at least once, if not twice. Then he takes you out, but guess what? You took both of his shields, and now you're way ahead. So again, you guys, you would still only have 2 shields. His 2 shields would be gone, but we would still have our 2 shields. That is the end of our examples. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys like this kind of stuff, make sure to drop a like. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you guys on the next one.